And we're back. This is our 8th episode for this season. I'm a little sad. Sad news is that Bernie Sanders has dropped out of the race. That's too bad because he was a good guy. He was a good politician. He's an honest politician. And quite frankly, I don't think we deserve anybody like him. I mean, I've always believed in you get what you deserve. And if you're not smart enough to vote for the right person, you deserve that person. And that's the problem we have right now, is that Bernie Sanders is gone. There goes your chance for Medicare for all. There goes your chance for your kids going to college without being stuck in debt till they're 40. There goes your chance for, having better paying jobs with a better. I mean, they literally would have doubled the amount of money you make, which means if you're working 2 jobs, you would now only have to work 1 job. But apparently that didn't mean anything to anybody. So anyway, I think somebody said the question, what will you do now that Bernie Sanders is out? This supporter ain't going to vote for Joe Biden. I think Donald Trump needs to stay president. And I may get a lot of from liberals, but I can tell you right now, I think Donald Trump needs to stay president. We need to have the Republican Party in the White House longer. I'm not even against having him in there for 12 years. If it means never seeing these assholes again, I say put him in there for 12 years. Now, you older folks who are in your 50s and you're in your 60s will probably never be able to form this opinion because you're too old. And most of y'all will probably never live to see, exactly how bad they are so that you can learn your lesson. And even if you did, you're probably too old to change. So, but this old man right here, I'm in my 50s now, I'm saying that Donald Trump needs to stay president. And here's why. Donald Trump is that hot stove that we all have got to touch. Especially Trump supporters. I don't know if you remember, when I was a kid, we had a hot stove in our house. And my mother was frantically trying to stop me from touching it. I just wanted to touch it. I was a little kid. I was a little baby. And I just wanted to touch it. Toddler, maybe. Anyway, my father was telling me this story. And I just remembered she could not get me to stop wanting to touch that hot stove. And finally, my father, God rest his soul, he said, let him touch it. We're standing right here. If anything really bad happens, we can catch him and he'll be fine. And that's what my mother ended up doing. She did it reluctantly. It's her baby. And she didn't want me to touch it, but she went ahead and let me touch it. And my mother never had to worry about me touching that hot stove again. Ever. And that's why we need to let Republicans stay president. They need to stay in the White House. They need to control Congress. Because we're not feeling the burn of what they're doing is long term. It's going to take a while for you to feel it. And we're not going to feel it if we keep flip-flopping back every 8 years. If you look at our history, we go back 8 years. 8 years we're a Democrat, 8 years we're a Republican. 8 years Democrat, 8 years Republican. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, there's only one time when we did not do that. And that was when we had President FDR. FDR, he got reelected. Well, he got elected once and then reelected 4 times. I won't say that accurately. He's been elected. He got 4 terms. You know why? Because they realized the rest of the world did not want to go back to what it was like with Herbert Hoover, Republican President Herbert Hoover. They didn't want to go back to that. They knew back then what Republicans were like. And because of that, a Republican president did not get elected for 25 years. And that's the only time that has ever happened. 25 years. That's a long time. There's a reason for it. Your grandparents were smarter than you. And that's a fact. Your grandparents are a whole lot smarter than you. And they knew, but mostly because they experienced it. They experienced the Hoovervilles and the Hoover Shacks. And we still eat Hoover gravy. If anybody knows, it's that cheap gravy you make with flour and oil. It's not really gravy. The gravy comes from actually the meat and the juice from whatever it is you're cooking. Back then, they couldn't even afford meat, so they just put oil in a pan and mixed it up with flour. That was Hoover gravy. It didn't cost anything because they didn't have anything. And we still eat that today. Hoover gravy. Look it up. Now, so these people knew, and they didn't elect a Republican president for 25 years until Eisenhower. Now, most people will talk, if you hear people talking about, well, when was the last time we had taxes at 91%? And it was like, President Eisenhower. And it's always funny because he's a Republican. But here's what we don't know, is that actually it was 91%. Before Eisenhower, it was 94%. And because of that, we see the downfall of America as it goes. Going down, going down, going down. Taxes, if you look, every president lowered taxes as a Republican. Republican presidents lowered taxes. Democrats kept it the same. Bill Clinton raised it, which is why they had to get him, which is why they impeached him. I know they say impeach him because they impeached him because he had an affair with a girl. Come on. But the point is this. The point is this. That's why we need President Trump to remain president. We have got these people. They've got to lose it all. They've got to lose their jobs. They got to lose. Right now, Trump got lucky. The coronavirus, which, by the way, is his fault, too. He should have responded to this better because Obama had two viruses, two epidemics, and he handled it so that it didn't become a pandemic. He handled it. I barely even remember these things. I had to look it up. So anyway, that's my argument. This country is not going to ever change unless we actually feel something that hurts. It's got to hurt. Just like the hot stove. Too often, here's what's happened here. We switch back and forth from Republican to Democrat, Republican to Democrat. So the Republicans don't get a chance to actually do the real damage that they're known well for, or they used to be known well for. So if we let him stay president, let him stay president for a little bit longer, because if you think he's bad now, wait till he doesn't have to worry about re-election, period. You really think that you would have gotten that little stimulus check, and I quote stimulus check because it's not really a stimulus check. It's more of a save your ass from losing everything check. That's not stimulus. You really think he would have offered that check up if he didn't have to worry about being reelected? Really? He would have done it. He would have never even thought about it. In fact, he's thinking about the second check that he's supposed to be, the second stimulus check. Thinking about it. He didn't think twice. He didn't bat an eye when it came to giving $2.7 trillion to the wealthy. Didn't bat an eye. But he had a debate about this one. This one took some thinking and some serious reconsidering and serious consideration. You know, if that's true, I mean, if it was hard for him to do that for the little guy and easy for him to do it for the super rich who don't even need the money, what does that tell you about him? Anyway, that's my argument. Trump should stay president because we haven't learned our lesson, and it's time we were taught that lesson. Signing off.